The ability to speak clearly and communicate effectively has many importance. One, it enables you to climb the corporate ladder faster. Two, it enhances your personal relationship skills. Three, it advances your social interaction and communication mastery. Four, it enables you to become a highly sought after, influential public personality. Five, it enhances your leadership and persuasive skills. And most of all, effective public speaking position you to build wealth. So what are you waiting for? Reach out to Seven Figure Media and get registered for effective public speaking made simple. Business means war, and you will fail in business if you are not mentally, emotionally, and physically prepared to do battle. You see, business is not for the weak at heart, all right? Because you will fail long before you say one, two, and three. You cannot allow lie doubts and fear to define your destiny in business. You have to be strong. And you have to be able to fly like that eagle into a storm with a strategic plan of how you're going to navigate the world of business, how you're going to navigate that storm. What I want you to imagine is that there's a government bid, the bid value $1 billion. But the task is that once you win this bid, you have to rescue 5,000 teenagers who have been captured by three specific groups. Hamas, the Taliban, and ISIS. There's three levels of the battle as you start to think about this bid. First is what you call the self-assessment battle. That's a war. At this stage, you're thinking, are you capable of achieving the mission? We'll talk some more about that. The second stage of the battle is bidding, because of course you're not going to be the only persons bidding to get that contract. And then the third stage of the war is the market assessment. And in the market assessment, you must consider that the criminals are not just going to give up. So lives may lose, bodies may drop. And the big question you have to ask yourself in the game of war, are you mentally, emotionally, and physically prepared to battle in spite of the challenges that you're seeing in front of you? Business means war. Let me break this down just a little bit more for you. In the context of self-assessment, you are asking yourself, who is your ideal client? Now, you don't have to worry too long about that because you're going to rescue 5,000 teenagers who are at risk of being drug mules, who are at risk of being sex trafficked by these criminal gangs. So you know exactly who is your target, who you're going to rescue, who is your ideal client. But then the battle doesn't end there. The self-assessment battle doesn't end there. You now have to ask yourself, what would be the specific needs of those young ladies once you rescue them? They have been exposed to some of the most vicious criminal minds in the world. What have they been exposed to? And once you capture them, do you have the systems in place to provide the medical aid, to provide the counseling, to provide the support so as to ensure that they can recover from that traumatic experience? The same principle here applies to business. This business we're talking about. Do you have the capability of doing that? So you have this self-assessment battle that is taking place. And at the third level, you are asking yourself, are you truly capable of bidding, winning that bid, and delivering on all of the expectations? Because once you rescue, you want to be certain that you have the aids in place to provide assistance. And you want to know that you have that capability to get the job done. So you have this internal battle. You have this self-assessment battle, and the possibility exists that you're having this battle because you might have never done that type of mission before, and that's quite okay. This represents you as a rising star in business. You're now getting the knowledge and experience in terms of how to navigate the world of business, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So you have this internal self-assessment battle to rise again and again. If you're weak at heart, you're going to see all the obstacles in front of you why you should not bid for that project. And that's a lost opportunity to gain $1 billion. Self-assessment. You see, when you assess yourself in the world of business, when you assess yourself in the art of the war, you must be mentally, emotionally, and physically prepared to do battle. That's the only way you're going to win. You must have the mindset that says, I may not have all of the information now, but I can connect with the right mentor, I can connect with the right coaches, I can connect with the right sponsors, I can build a support community that's going to help me to not only fight this battle, but win this battle. It requires a certain way of thinking. Business means war. And are you prepared to do that battle? Are you mentally prepared? Are you emotionally prepared? Are you physically prepared to do battle? There's a second stage of the battle, and that is now that you are mentally, emotionally, and physically prepared for the battle, there's no guarantee that you're going to win that bid unless again you are fully prepared to do battle. So the war that you have to fight here, you have to fight a bidding war because you are not the only person that wants to get access to $1 billion. There are a lot of great thinkers and strategic thinkers. There are bidders that are thinking that, hey, I can win this bid and I don't have to be at risk. I'm going to hire some youngsters who need access to capital, need access to money, need a better promise in life, and I'm going to train them. I'm going to expose them to the best training possible, and I'm going to pay them well, and I'm going to earn them to go out and do battle. So your competition, I mean, they're thinking, yeah, I'm going to make money. Yeah, I'm going to help the less fortunate. Yeah, but I'm going to protect myself from the field. You have to think how to do battle. Your competition may also be thinking, also, who do I know in the bidding office and who palm can I grease? Talking about business means war. And in the game of war, there may be rules, but those rules can be broken. And very often you lose the war because you're not seeing the rules that are being broken. Somebody is sitting, at the coffee table. Somebody is sitting in the bar. Somebody is meeting after work and they're negotiating to win that bid. Long before the bid is tendered publicly. So you lose the bid. In the game of business, I've seen a whole lot, and I'm saying to you that when you want to win in the game of business, you got to be prepared to win the war. And you got to be prepared mentally, emotionally, and physically. Can you imagine being the speaker who's able to speak and inspire your audience? Well, you don't have to imagine because all of this is possible with Seven Figure Media. They have designed a very unique platform titled Public Speaking Made Simple that not only equips you with the tools to speak to inspire and empower, but in the case that you're a sales communication professional, it gives you the tools to connect with your audience and increase significantly your sales outcome. Reach out to Seven Figure Media and get to learn more about their program, Public Speaking Made Simple, that can literally transform your life. Now, there's a third level of the war, the third stage of the war, and this has to do with market assessment. So even when you win the self-assessment battle, and even when you win the bidding war, you still have another level of that war to deal with, all right? You still have another level of this war to deal with. You have the market assessment, and the market assessment is you now have to come up against Hamas. You now have to come up against ISIS. You now have to come up against the Taliban. And what you want is to win the war. This war can be won in multiple ways. You might want to say, hey, you have to get the guns and the ammunitions. You got to get the drone with a high-powered weapon, and you are prepared to go do battle. But depending on the level of your intelligence in doing battle, you can put the very lives of the people that you're going to rescue at risk. The battle could be won in many different ways. And business means war. You need to understand the art of war. You might want to say, let's do battle. And you're thinking physical battle. But on the other hand, you have the strategic thinkers and they're thinking tactical battle. And what's the difference between the physical and the tactical battle? The physical battle is that you're getting out there and shoulders are being bruised. Wounds are being caused all over people's bodies are dropping. Blood is flowing. and deaths are occurring. And that's one consequence of fighting a war in a particular way. Sometimes there may be need to fight the battle, with brutal strength. Sometimes there's need for that. But is that the only way to win the war? As we look around the world, we just saw Israel and Hamas. They have just shared brutal blows. Hamas, send their warheads, on the field into Gaza, and Israel decimated Gaza. But at the end of the day, how did that war look? Hamas, came out all after, Israel sent its best high-powered, ammunition into Gaza. But Hamas still come out and raise their flag. They say, you killed 5, but we brought back 10. You killed 5, we brought back 15, because we have nowhere to go. Those guys got some serious fighting power. So the possibility exists that the best way to fight that war may not be with ammunition. What about a diplomatic solution? That's another way in which you can fight a war. You have $1 billion. And what if you negotiate with that? You bring the Hamas, you bring the Taliban, you bring the ISIS at the table, and you say, listen, guys, we're not going to fight that type of war that you want. We need the 5,000 young ladies that you have, but we're going to give you $500 million. You can take this money and you can transform what you're doing. You can take this money and position yourself to build massive amount of wealth. And who knows, a few years down the road, perhaps you will be able to sit at the negotiation table and negotiate for some of the very same things you say you have a justifiable reason to fight for right now. You're taking steps, diplomatic steps to win the battle. So you rescue the 5,000 teens who are at risk of being sex trafficked, who are at risk of becoming drug muled, by putting everyone at the negotiation table. Because guess what? At the end of the day, the war in most cases never ends on the battlefield. The war ends with diplomacy and negotiation table. So when I talk about business means war, and you lose this war if you're not prepared to fight the war, and you lose this war if you don't know the power of negotiation. You have to understand how to build the mental muscle, because to negotiate, it requires a lot of mental muscle. It requires a lot of emotional intelligence, and it requires a lot of physical capability. And I'm saying all of them, you need to understand them. Just like how you're going to spend time to understand your ideal client, just like how you're going to spend time to identify their specific needs, just like how you're going to spend time to assess your ability to deliver above and beyond their expectations. That's only one stage of the battle. The other stage of the battle is, how are you going to assess market dynamics? How are you going to either fight with market realities or find ways to negotiate and collaborate and create the environment where you have a desired outcome? The only way you're going to win with the Hamas and the Taliban and the ISIS is perhaps through strategic negotiation. Sometimes they are win-win situations. Sometimes they are win and a lose, but sometimes finding common grounds can be found when you have the creative and innovative ability to think through a process. Perhaps you might say $500 million, but what if I says, and the Taliban and Hamas says to you, hey, we need 700 million. At the end of the day, you're still walking away with 300 million, with no life being lost, no blood being dropped, no bodies, being placed 6 feet under, largely because you understand business means war, and you understand the elements of navigating and surviving in this world. So I want you to think about that. When you want to win in business, it's important for you to really ensure that you are mentally prepared, you're emotionally prepared, and you're physically prepared to do battle. And remember also that doing battle is not always the physical battle, because the physical battle, in most cases, you have to end it at a negotiation table. And I want you to look around the world and see how war is fought. The possibility exists that you may not be the person negotiating the solution. The possibility exists that you're using other superpowers because you have the right mentor, you have the coach, you have the right sponsors, you have the right supportive community that you're a part of that are negotiating that peace deal for you. Is that part of the art of war? You think about it. You win by any means possible. All right. And I repeat, you win the game of business and you win the war by any means possible. So long before the war starts, because the fact that you have the right mentor, the right coach, the right sponsor, the right supportive community, you've won the battle and you've won the war long before it got started. So there's no need for bodies to fall. There's no need for anyone to bleed. There is no need for life to be lost because you understand how we do business. You understand the art of the war. And the time will come that you will become so strong that no one wants to fight with you. All right, because they know alone they cannot win against you. And guess what else? Well, I'm going to leave that to the next part of the story. So remember, business means war, and you must be mentally, emotionally, and physically prepared to do battle. Like doing battle, again, remember, it's not always physical. It's intellectual, and you have to train and develop your intellectual muscle in such a way that it positions you to win the war long before the war is started. I'm blessed, and see you in the next broadcast. The ability to speak clearly and communicate effectively will give you a competitive advantage in business and in life. So why not invest your time, talent, and resources learning something that can position you for greatness? And that is where seven-figure media comes in. They have developed a very unique platform titled Public Speaking Made Simple. And platform is all designed to help you to learn, apply, and master effective public speaking skills and effective essential communication skills that will give you the competitive advantage in life. All of this is free. All you need to do is to reach out and get registered for this program. Remember, the name is Seven Figure Media.